Hello and welcome to Defence Line, our weekly program on defence, security and more. Though generally the relations of the Defence Services headquarters with the Ministry of Defence have always been cordial, these have occasionally come under strain, particularly during the tenure of General V.K. Singh as Chief of Army Staff. With the change of guard and coming in of General Bikram Singh as Army Chief, what needs to be done to institutionalize the civil-military relations? What are the other challenges facing General Bikram Singh? These are some of the issues we will discuss with Major General B.S. Garewal, former GOC of an armored division, Lieutenant General A.S. Sekhon, former Director General Military Operations, who is also from the new Chief's Regiment, the Sikh Light Infantry, and Major General Sureshwar Tiwari, former MGGS Doctrine in Army Training Command. Gentlemen, welcome to the discussion. But before that, let us look at this report.
The Chief of Army Staff, General V.K. Singh, passed on the Chief's baton, the baton of controversy, to General Bikram Singh on 31st of May 2012. General V.K. Singh's tenure of 26 months saw the military-civil conflict escalate to dramatic and dangerous levels. Beginning with the airdrop controversy that saw an unprecedented action of a serving chief moving the Supreme Court against the government, it was one salvo after the other from both the sides from there on. These include allegations of a bribe offered by a retired general, a serving corps commander charged with grave misconduct, a military secretary stripped of his rank, and above all, a top-secret letter leaked to the media. General V.K. Singh's letter to the Prime Minister highlighting critical shortages of ammunition and the lack of fighting capabilities of the force, which was mysteriously leaked, led to an uproar in Parliament, with various political parties putting the government on the mat and also questioning the General's intention in exposing the soft underbelly of the fighting machine. The Defence Secretary Shashikant Sharma assured the Parliamentary Standing Committee on the prowess and might of the third largest army of the world, it did little to quell the raging controversy, bringing out in the open the fact that the Army and the MOD were speaking in different languages. Defence Minister A.K. Antony had to repeatedly issue statements to the effect that all was well between the MOD and the Army Chief. But confidential letters did leak, and the routine army movements alarmed the MOD to the extent that the Defence Secretary had to cut short his foreign visit. A tenure that began with the promise to fight against corruption and transform the 1.13 million force into a lean, mean fighting machine to tackle internal and external threats ended with a string of controversies and plummeting relations between the MOD and the Army. His successor, General Bikram Singh, is a highly decorated officer who has also served 5 important terms at the Army headquarters and is believed to know the working of the MOD like the back of his hand.
गाड़ी चलाई जाती है विंड स्क्रीन से आगे देखते हुए, ना कि जो रियर व्यू मिरर है, जो पीछे वाला शीशा पीछे देखने के लिए, उसको देख के गाड़ी नहीं चलाई जाती. तो मेरा मुद्दा है जो पीछे हो गया है उसको पीछे रखना, and look through the wind screen and not through the rear view mirror while taking the army ahead.
Yet the general has his job cut out for him to fulfill his legacy and at the same time reduce the trust deficit between the army and his political masters.
Please, you're going to give me some time. You know, I've been away from this for quite some time. Give me about a month's time. I'll get into the saddle pretty well, and we'll meet again, and I'll answer all your questions. Would that be fine?
He requests time and patience to take stock of the situation. How things pan out in the future, only time will tell.
We are in conversation with 3 retired army officers. General Sekhon, I'll start with you. First of all, congratulations. Another person from your regiment, the Sikh Light Infantry, has made it to the chief's post. So how many officers from your regiment have occupied that top post?
Before General Bikram, General Malik had done the chief's tenure. He is the second chief from the regiment, and thanks for the compliments, I think, for the regiment.
Have you served with General Bikram Singh? What kind of an officer is he? I'm asking you because all kinds of things have been said in the last couple of months about him.
General Bikram is an extremely pleasing personality, very jovial, very pleasant to talk to, and a thorough professional. I think it is proven by the results of his courses which he's done, including the US War College, where he did exceptionally well. And I think he's done 2 tenures outside with the UN. and done very well as formation commander and with impeccable
But
integrity.
why these misgivings about his career?
I would not like to comment on somebody else commenting on General Bikram, but I would only like to say that General Bikram per se is an extremely good personality, and I think Army has got a very, very worthy chief.
Right. General Grewal, we all know the low level, the relations between the Army and the MOD that had been reached in the last couple of months. Who do you blame for whatever happened?
Well, I think with the inputs that are available to us, all parties must take a portion of the blame. The MOD, being the senior party to the entire interface, is very much to blame because things could have been handled better by them. The chief acted in good faith based on his convictions, but in retrospect, I think even he has said that he wished things had turned out differently. I think the issue could have been handled better. The media has reacted with sensationalizing everything that came their way, and they wanted a comment on every issue in real time, which doesn't work in real life. Armchair critics.
This is the problem of a 24/7 media.
Yes, I agree with you, but I think a bit of responsible reporting there could have put things in perspective. So I feel all parties must take a portion of the blame.
General Grewal, I know individuals do matter, but for whatever happened, do you think the lack of a institutional mechanism is also to blame?
Actually, that is the crux. The lack of an institutional mechanism is the crux of the problem. I think this absence of the institutional mechanism has created a bit of a degree of, shall I say, suspicion between various elements of power. The Army has consistently said that political control is what is implied in our constitution and not bureaucratic control. Is that the key? Can we eliminate it through an institutional mechanism? The solutions are well known. There are various studies which have suggested better integration between the Army and the MOD. At the moment, to my mind, this interface is superficial.
Right, we'll just come to that. General Tiwari, first of all, congratulations. I think happy time for PPS Naba and all the students from PPS.
Thank
I
you.
believe you had a celebration yesterday.
Thank you very much, and I think on behalf of the Ulla Bhites, right, we would like to once again compliment General Bikram. And we had an excellent get together. We almost about 200 Ulla Bhites got together. And well, it was a day for celebration, and it was a day for us also, in a way, saying how best our commander, right, will be able to handle the situation in the future.
On a more serious note, for whatever happened between the MOD and the service headquarters, the Army headquarters, what do you think, where did things go wrong and who is to blame?
Unfortunately, we have not really understood the mechanism, in the sense, when there's a civil control, what do you understand by civil control? And the civil control is not of today, it is way back 300 to 400 centuries back. When the colonial Raj was there. The civil control, because that time the crown, king was also there, and the parliament was also there. And the civil control meant that it is the parliament who should be controlling the armed forces, and the king is nominal. Now here, there is only the political parties, all right? And the political party means the defense minister and the prime minister, if you really take it. And they are the one who should really be controlling or interacting. And to assist them, we have the IAS, and earlier on it was the civil services. But unfortunately, what is happening is, it is the civil services who are dictating terms in whatever, because the political hierarchy is not playing their role.
But what do you think has led to all this?
It's total communication gap. All right, and it is also, I would say, partly, well, we all as officers are also to be blamed. We have not been able to put across our viewpoint. We have not been able to have the courage of conviction of walking
And
up.
maybe your own senior officers haven't been able to take a stand when it was required, no?
Absolutely, because wherever it was required, they should have. And if they had taken the stand, I'm sure the results would have been different.
But did you really need to take a stand the way General VK Singh did?
No, that's a subtle difference. The stand means selfishness. I mean, I'm being very frank at this juncture. Selflessness and selfishness. There's a subtle difference.
I think this is a
selflessness.
It's a lack of integration between the defense headquarters. After the Kargil Review Committee, it was suggested by the committee that all headquarters should get integrated. At the moment what has happened is we have changed the name of the Army headquarters from Army Headquarter to Integrated Headquarter of Defence in bracket Army. Likewise Navy and Air Force. But otherwise the Ministry of Defence remains exclusive, and so do the service headquarters. The integration actually suggested had meant that you cross post officers from the civil into the headquarters of the three services, and post service officers into the Ministry of Defence at various places, and integrate the headquarters and integrate the Ministry of Defence along with the service.
So you are referring to the Chief of Defence Staff
Chief of
system.
Defence Staff is a separate issue.
Okay.
Even the Kargil Review Committee had suggested integration of the Ministry of Defence and the service headquarters, which has not happened. We have only changed the names.
But why do you think the government has been dragging its feet on this?
I really wouldn't be able to tell you the answer to that, but perhaps a bit of turf war is there, bit of preservation of individual turfs, whether within the headquarters or within the service headquarters itself. Nobody wants to let go his own turf, and I think that's not in the interest of the functioning of the...
I'll just come back to you. General Garewal, General Sekhon mentioned a very interesting thing. He says possibly the turf war has kept the system from getting properly institutionalized, which means I think the Navy and the Air Force are not really on board with the Army on the kind of integration that should take place. What is your take on that?
No, there are two dimensions to this integration. One is the dimension between the three. One is the dimension of integration between the three services, which is the CDS concept and so on. It's not working. There is lack of integration between the three services today.
Right.
Certainly there is. Institutionally, we don't have a framework for it. The other aspect, and which I think is the key to the problem we are addressing today, is the integration between the Army headquarters and the Ministry of Defence. Now, every committee has recommended that the Army headquarters, and indeed the service headquarters, should be integrated with the Ministry of Defence. That's not happening. So both issues of integration are lacking, inter-service and also between services and the Ministry of Defence.
So at least between the services and the MOD a beginning can be made.
Yes, but the beginning that has been made so far is a very superficial beginning. You can't just rename Army headquarters into integrated headquarter brackets Army. It doesn't serve a purpose unless you have Army officers in the MOD, civilian officers are already functioning in various branches of the Army headquarters. That is the kind of integration that is that we are looking at.
Right. So hopefully the new chief will kind of take it up with the government, and this
there
issue
is a
will be
committee.
resolved.
The Naresh Chandra committee is looking at these issues, and hopefully they'll come up with the institutional mechanism, because the problem is institutional, it's not individual.
Right. I'll just come back to you. Here is time for a short break. When we return, we continue our discussion on the challenges before the new Army chief.